Guys, hello and welcome. It's your girl Jay or Diz or Jay Dizzle, whatever y'all want to call me. I've said it more than once to people, but I respond to literally anything, so don't stress too much about what you call me. Um, Basically, I'm making this video to address a couple of things. Some of you might have noticed that for a month's worth of time, I was not active at all on YouTube. Well, I was responding to comments and stuff, and I was trying to, participate in some Keeper of the Lost Cities live streams for different YouTubers, but on my channel, there wasn't a whole lot being posted. So I tried to address that in the description of one of my other videos, but I felt the need that this was kind of a deeper topic that I don't think is going to go away anytime soon, because I've tried to let it go away, and it hasn't. So I have the feeling that I probably just need to address this now. Disclaimer, this is not a scripted video. I have been trying my hardest to get something out back to that whole weekly thing, and it's not been working out how I want it to. And taking the time to write out a script is going to take so much time that I've just decided, let's just mush all of it into one video. I gotta create an audio file that's worth 20 minutes worth of time anyways, so this will be fine. Me rambling will work out in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, so here we go. So for pretty much my entire life, I have been drawing for as long as I can remember. Some of my oldest memories are just me lying on the floor of my parents' office and just doodling, drawing, whatever the heck I want to do. There's so many old sketchbooks I have that I can just look at, and then I'll see drawings from first grade, second grade, kindergarten, and I'll just get so much freaking nostalgia. It's so unreal. And then I'll keep going and I'll see drawings of me trying to create different outfits. There was a time in my life where I made lunch themed outfits and tea time themed outfits, where the dress or whatever kind of clothing I was making, the design of it was based on a type of food or a utensil, and it was so fun. And I went back to doing it a little bit too, but yeah, for the majority of my life I've been into some kind of form of art, whether it's painting, sketching, drawing, digital. There's always been something. So for a while, because of that, as I started getting more into YouTube and found more content creators, I started getting into the art side of YouTube. I started watching tons of creators like Apple Mint, Drawing Whiff Waffles, Lavender Town, and seeing all of the stuff that they would do. The fact that you could draw something so pretty traditionally had not crossed my mind at that point. And then I saw that, and immediately my brain just goes, oh, whoa, this is amazing. I want to do this. So I start buying different kinds of markers, trying to see if I can learn how to shade well with markers. I didn't have blender markers yet, so I was making the best with what I had, trying to figure out, okay, how do I do this? What kind of paper should I be using? What kind of pencils should I be using? How do I sketch out a body better? How do I do all of these types of things to make me a better artist? And I kept trying to improve and improve and improve. And during this period, I also found the animation, storytime animation community. And goodness gracious, that was just another level of mind blown. The fact that groups of people could just create these kinds of things. For some reason, animation to me existed as something that huge companies had to do. It didn't hit me that I could just animate things on my own. Again, that was just another layer of, oh, I can do this. And then the animation meme community I found. And then that kept going. And suddenly, the idea of art as just a hobby was still there, but it evolved into, but it could be more. It was something that I'd always thought about and something I'd been kind of told, but I never really thought about it seriously, I guess. Art is kind of one of those fields where people don't necessarily take it to be a serious job, I guess. Most of the time when you're talking to adults, they're like, oh, you should be a lawyer, or you should be a doctor. And if you say something along the lines of, I want to be a dancer, or I want to be a musician, or I want to be an artist, the term starving artist keeps coming up, and it keeps being seen as, it's not a real job, or, well, I mean, you could do this while you become a lawyer, it's not taken seriously. So I had to have this conversation with my parents. My mom seemed really supportive of me. My dad supports me but he also seemed like the first time I brought this up that he didn't really see it as a feasible career path for me. And when I brought it up to my grandpa, there was no there was no denying that he definitely didn't see it as a real or very solid career path, or that he saw it as a less solid career path. He I was talking to him about how I was kind of stuck between that and law, and it was very obvious during the conversation that he was on the side, yeah, you should go into law. And when I brought it up to him, he was like, oh yeah, obviously. There was no denying that that was where his mind was going. So I think that living in that around people who have that mindset made me think, yeah, no, art's not a feasible career for the majority of my life, and I just treated it as a hobby. But then seeing people who made it a career made me realize, oh, well, if I improve myself, I can do more with this. So I started trying to do that. I started entering art contests, and I never won any of them, but it still was fun to do, and I ended up looking at my skills growing, and it was great. And then I started posting more art on Wattpad, some art in Discord servers I was in, and eventually on YouTube. I've been wanting to do YouTube for a very long time. Around when I started realizing that storytime animation and animation memes were a thing, I started trying to traditionally animate, but I did not have the patience for it when I started, so I left it alone for a while and went back to just doing normal art. But as you can see, since I'm posting this on the channel where I post my animations, I eventually got there. The main reason why I started was because I just needed something to give me a push. The very first time I was really set on posting something on YouTube was when I was trying to create my first animation meme. And oh boy! Oh boy, it was not pretty. I didn't know anything about how you added audio to a software. I wasn't sure what I was doing. I'm pretty sure the timing for everything I was animating was off. I was trying to lip sync with no references. It was a mess. Maybe I'll post the disheveled parts in like a whip video at some point if y'all want to see that. But it was a mess, y'all. It was also one of the first times. It was when I was still getting into digital art, so I hadn't made a lot of pieces before that to get used to like good shading and good line art and just making things look visually appealing. So it's not the best. But I was trying to do that as a way to jumpstart my YouTube journey, and the animation meme was initially for a contest, and I missed the deadline for when the contest ended. But then I decided, hey, screw the contest, do it for you. I did not continue doing it for me. I don't remember what my reasoning was for it. I just stopped. I couldn't do it anymore. So, eventually, though, I'm just scrolling through YouTube and I see this MAP call. For those of you who don't know what an MAP is, it stands for Multi-Animator Project, where 10 of us just get together, 10 of us animators get together, and we take a song, we take maybe a script if someone's going to like dictate a storyline for this animation we want to do, and we all come together and create an animation to whatever audio is selected and whatever script has been created for us. It's basically one gigantic collab, and it's great. So, I see an MAP call from a YouTuber called Faye Vacker, who I'd never heard of before. So I was like, interesting. Wonder what she's up to. So I click on the video that I found. I'm listening to the song. It was the song It's Not Like I Like You, which I had listened to many, many years ago and I enjoyed. And I was listening to it. I was looking at the qualifications for the project, and I was like, I could do this. This is something I could do, probably, maybe, who knows? And it was a beginner-friendly project thing. So people who had never animated before or didn't have content on their channels already could join this feasibly. So I was like, okay, why not? I've got nothing to lose. So I signed myself up for a part, and I start to work. And before you know it, I have this thing uploaded, and I've been gaining subscribers, and people are coming to look at this, and I got so much freaking joy and euphoria from posting that for the first time, and I felt so good about myself, and it was so great. And it made me so freaking happy just to see that. Just everything. It felt like I was getting somewhere. It felt like I was doing something good. It felt like I was good, and it felt like people actually wanted to see the things that I had to put out. I just felt so amazing because here were a ton of strangers on the internet that knew nothing about me telling me that I was doing a good job. And for some reason, that hits real different than your friends and family telling you you're doing a good job. Now that that's not great, you love that. And I love to hear that, and it makes me feel really good. But also, sometimes it feels different coming from someone who doesn't know you. It feels like they weren't all obligated to tell you that. They just did. It makes you feel like you're actually doing well, which I think that helped me build up some more confidence. And I started saying, let's animate some more. Let's do some more. Let's take on more projects. Let's just get it done. Let's go out there and do things. And so I kept doing things. And eventually I decided, let's do commissions. I'd been wanting to do them for a long time anyways. So with all this newfound confidence, I was like, why the heck not? What's gonna stop me from doing that? So that's what I did. I started working on commissions, trying to get a website up. In the meantime, there were some art competitions and animation meme competitions that were popping up, and I was like, I really want to do these. These sound like they'd be great. And then on top of that, one of my favorite channels, Psych to Go, was a long-time channel that I watched a very long time ago, still come back to occasionally, was looking for animators and needed new animators to join them. And I was like, oh, whoa, this is amazing. I would love to be a part of this. So I decided that I was going to apply for the animation position. I was going to enter these art contests. I was going to do this animation meme contest. I was going to live my dream and start trying to create art and bring an income while doing it. I was going to do it all, and I was so freaking hyped to do it. And then everything went to shiz. The job opportunity with this other channel required me to create a thumbnail image for them and also animate some 10-second audio for them. And then if I did well enough on both of those little tests, then I would be given one project to complete for them. They'd post it on their channel, see how people received it, and if they received it well, then I would continue animating projects for them. I was super excited to do it because it seemed like something I'd really, really love to do, and I've always had a passion for the stuff that their channel was known for, so I was like, yes, let's do this. So I get hype, I get what my prompt is for this create a thumbnail challenge, which is the first achievement thing that I need to do. So I'm like, okay, bet, let me just sit down, let me start drawing this out. This is gonna be the best dang thumbnail you've ever done seen. And didn't work out how I wanted it to. It took a while for certain responses to get across. I'm not sure where these people are stationed or not, but I think that time zone had something to do with it because I'd get like replies at like 2 a.m. So there was a period of time where I was just waiting for someone to respond to me because I said, hey, I'm expressing interest in this position and I'd like to know what I have to do in order to apply for it. And I, like, days and days and days later, get a response. And they lay out the requirements for me and what I need to be able to do and all that stuff, answer some of my questions. I'm like, bet, let me do this. So I do the first task, I send them the results, and I'm just kind of waiting for days again, just kind of getting my hopes up against my will, just being like, okay, it's fine. There's a chance you won't get it, but at the same time, people were telling you that it did look like a good thumbnail, so maybe you will, maybe you won't. And I got my hopes crushed. I was on a call with my best friend when I got the email, and I tried not to sound incredibly soul crushed, but I'm pretty sure he could tell that I was, and it hurt a lot, and I didn't get the job. I I I didn't even get past the first stage, and it stung. It was a blow to my pride, and yeah. And you might be looking at this and being like, it's just one job opportunity. It shouldn't affect you that much. Maybe it shouldn't, but it did, because art is one of my things. Like I said earlier, I've been doing it since I was a kid. So if I wasn't good enough to make it a career with these people, was I good enough to make it a career, period. But it was one situation, it was fine, I wasn't going to go back to it. It was going to be okay. So I also had commissions to worry about, and this animation meme contest, and this art contest. So there were those things to worry about. So I started working on this animation meme, and my goodness gracious, this might have been one of the most emotionally taxing experiences I'd had in a while. I can't fully explain why this was the way it was, but for some reason, I was just not doing great with this project. It was terrible. And then the deadline just came faster than I expected. I did not have as much time as I thought I initially did, and I could not get it done. And when I decided maybe I should just do it for me, do it for myself, do it because it should be done and you need something to post, because I had taken like maybe 3 weeks without posting just so I could get this project done. And then I saw how much storage it was taking up on my device, and that stressed me out to the point where I was just like, you know what, I don't want to do it anymore. So I just left it alone. I felt maybe a little like a quitter, but it was fine because I had that art contest and that piece for that art contest that I'd poured my heart and soul into, every creative drop of everything that I had, because there wasn't a whole lot left I could do. So I entered the piece for the art contest, and I got an honorable mention. And that was good. That is good. I'm glad that I got that. But at the same time, when you pour your heart and soul into a piece and it feels like every art experience leading up to that moment had been failure after failure after failure, it, it stung a little. After that, I was just continuously checking my commissions page, trying to see, is anyone trying to commission art from me? And no one. I never got a single solitary email. I never got a form filled out on my website. Nothing. There was absolutely nothing. And that crushed me even more. And so I decided maybe it's something to do with how I'm advertising. Maybe I should get an account on a social media platform that like specializes in art. So I thought of DeviantArt, and I'm like, that's probably a good place to start. So I went on DeviantArt, and that was a mistake. I put in the website, I press enter, and instantaneously am flooded with so many amazing, well done pieces. And usually, when I see art like that, I get so giddy and happy for the artist, and I get excited because I'm like, I could be there one day. But seeing all that and thinking that I could advertise on here and be considered a good artist, it was kind of just the last straw. It was like, did you really think you could get anywhere with this? Did you really think you of all people were gonna go somewhere with this? What made you think that you were good enough for this? Look at these people here. Look at these skilled artists and tell me you're good enough. And it freaking hurt. And I couldn't look away, partially because the art was so dang gorgeous, but also because some tiny part of me was desperate to find something that looked like something I would do or could do. Some part of me was just saying, no, this is just the stuff that you see when you first open the website. There's gotta be stuff that looks like the stuff you make, right? Right? You're not that bad, right? I didn't find anything. My friend tried to help me because he realized that I wasn't doing the best, and I was emotionally just kind of damaged from looking at that. So he tried to help me out with that, but I was crushed. I still kind of am, honestly. So why am I bringing all this up? Well, I haven't been posting as much consistently, and a lot of that is because of that. I was trying to work on projects and trying to gain more traction on platforms, trying to make opportunities for me financially in the art world, and none of it was working, and my confidence just gradually got more and more and more diminished. And it hasn't fully gone away. I'm not very confident in any of my skills at this current moment in time, and I'm hoping that I can improve them. I sat down at some point after looking at all these DeviantArt images, and just decided, well, they're obviously all better than you, but I mean, like, maybe look at the stuff that they've made and learn from it. So this piece was heavily inspired by a lot of those pieces. Me just looking at these and saying, I'm not as good as any of these other people, but I can try to be as good at art as I possibly can be myself. Everything about this whole experience is hard. Everything about being an artist and trying to make it a feasible career is hard, especially if it's not something that you've been working towards your whole life, and especially if you're about to be 17, this is your last year of high school, and you see 13 and 14-year-olds who look like they're doing way better than you. It hurts a lot. It's a huge blow to your pride. So, I guess what I'm trying to say here is, I'm sorry for not posting as much recently. I am going to do my best to do better and be better, and I'm going to try not to let this whole imposter syndrome, I think is what this qualifies as, bog me down too much. I am working on things, I am trying to get stuff out, and for those of you who've been sticking by me and being patient, thank you. And for those of you who've been subscribing and checking out my stuff when you don't have to, thank you. Because every time I see a very sweet comment, or every time I see that my sub count has gone up, I get so incredibly happy. It makes my day to see you guys' comments. Y'all are just such a sweet, amazing, wholesome community, and I'm so very lucky to have you. Trying to get good at anything is always kind of an uphill battle. There's other people who are trying to do what you're trying to do, and to some degree, it's kind of a competition. Sometimes there's going to be people who are younger than you who are better at it. Sometimes there's going to be people who are older than you who are better at it, and they might be better at different things than you are. But that's okay. You'll always have time to improve. My anxiety likes to try and tell me otherwise, that if I don't get good at this before I turn 18, then I'm never going to get anywhere, but that's not necessarily true. It's just going to take me a little bit longer. It's not going to go how I want it to, but I just need to have faith that I am going to get there if I keep putting the work in. So for any of you who are struggling with that, who are just looking at all of these people and thinking, they're so good at this, how am I going to aspire to be like that? If you keep putting in the work, you will get there. Sometimes it is nice to just look back on my old work and realize that I have come a long way. It might not be long enough for some people, but it's a long way for me, and it's a long way for the people who care about me. And sometimes we just need to learn to accept that that has to be enough. And then we need to learn that at some point we are going to get better. And at some point people are going to look at our work and say, wow, that is incredible. I aspire to be you. You will get there, just like I intend to. Thanks for listening to this little ramble thing. I hope that a lot of what I said made sense, but yeah. So, what does this mean video-wise? Well, I'm going to be trying to make videos not just for the Keeper of the Lost Cities fandom, but with my OCs, with other things. I want to make art that makes me feel good about making art. So, for a while, there might not be a super consistent upload schedule. There might be content for things that you guys aren't necessarily fans of, or content for things you guys might not necessarily have heard of. And I just ask that you bear with me until I kind of build my confidence back up. So, thanks for putting up with whatever this whole thing was. And, yeah, If you haven't checked out any of my other videos where I've used my voice, there's only really one. If you haven't checked out my other video where I use my voice, I recommend it. It's a really fun video where I talk about a bunch of fictional characters from different universes having a dinner party. It's really fun. I had a good time making it, and it's, I think, my longest video on my channel as of right now. So yeah, check it out if you haven't. You can check out my last video. It was a birthday present for one of my longtime friends who I went to middle school with. She got me into Keeper of the Lost City, so y'all can thank her for that. And if you're interested in helping me with my journey to become a better artist, my commissions link, the link to my website for commissions, is in my About tab on channel, my channel page. So if you could check that out, even if you don't have money to pay for a commission, if you could like just spread the word around, that would mean the world to me. And yeah, if any of you guys have tips for improving in the art field, or any like stories about how your journey into whatever kind of thing that you're into, whether it be art, voice acting, singing, whatever it is, leave it in the comments. Not only just for me, but for anyone else who really, really needs to hear these kinds of things, because sometimes we're just in a big rut and we just need the reminder that it'll get better. Also, I turned 17 in 4 days. Let's go, Pog. It's 17, 4 days when I'm recording this. By the time I posted it, it might actually be my birthday. So, thank you guys, for everything. Yeah, I was gonna make a Meet the Artist meme instead of this junk for my birthday, but, I ran out of time doing that, so I'll just wait till I hit 100 subs for that one. But, thank you so much for listening. I hope you have an amazing day, and I love you all. Take care, Gremlins. Peace.